Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. So today's video is going to be a review for weightlifting fairy Bok Joo. Weightlifting fairy Bok Joo is set at a sports university. It's full of athletes who are all the top of their field. They are training to become representatives of their country, and we follow Bok Joo, who is a female weightlifter. Bok Joo has pretty much spent her entire life weightlifting, supported by her father and her uncle. As we start the series, Bok Joo is reunited with her elementary school classmate Joon Hyung. He is a swimmer. He is a swimming ace. Unfortunately, he was disqualified from an international competition for a false start, and he is dealing with that as we go through the series. We also follow Song Shiho, who is a rhythmic gymnast, and she just so happens to be Joon Hyung's ex. Bok Joo has focused on weightlifting and only weightlifting for her entire life, but that tunnel vision comes to an end when she meets Joon Hyung's older brother and she develops a crush on him. He runs a clinic for weight loss. He is basically an obesity doctor. She develops a crush on him. He is her first crush. This is the first time she has been interested in boys this way. And we basically see her dealing with this first crush, the length she goes to just to spend time with him. We see the struggles all three of our main characters are going through when it comes to their sport and their chosen career. And we see romance develop between Bok Joo and Joon Hyung eventually. Weightlifting fairy Bok Joo has been on my to watch list for forever. I have been waiting to get to it, and I've kind of been debating it because I watched Nam Joo Hyuk, who is the actor who plays Joon Hyung in Bride of the Water God or Bride of Harbeck, and he was really good in that, and he was really good in Scarlet Heart Rio, and really good looking. So Weightlifting fairy Bok Joo basically went on my watch list because I wanted to watch the other dramas that he'd done. Plus I'd heard lots of good things about it, and there were some comparisons between it and Strong Woman Da Bong Soon, which I have watched, and I've been excited to start watching it, but I wasn't too sure what to expect. The first episode completely grabbed my attention and I was hooked from literally the first episode, purely based on how absolutely hilarious it is. But not only is it hilariously funny, but we have such an interesting female lead, and there are a lot of familiar faces. If you've watched W, Scarlet Heart, or Cheese in the Trap, I kept spotting people and being like, oh my god, that's you. Oh my god, you were the creepy guy. Oh my god. And I was completely mind blown by all of the familiar faces. There were also a lot of W references, which I did really appreciate. Sure, at times it was a little bit ridiculous and there were a few cliches, but which K-drama does not have cliches? And honestly, I don't even care because it was so brilliant and it kept me thoroughly entertained and I was just cackling away. As is obvious, it's a really sports focused show. We get a look at weightlifting, competitive swimming, competitive rhythmic gymnastics, which is not something I've actually seen a lot of before. The only one of the three that I've really seen is the swimming. We do get to see a lot of the swimming, and there are a lot of gratuitous ab shots. It is literally ab central. They basically use the fact the character is a swimmer to provide a nice amount of eye stimulation for all of us, shall we say. There's also a really nice amount of rhythmic gymnastics, which was nice. The rhythmic gymnasts, not so much. They were a bunch of bitches, straight up gonna say that. Literally the most toxic group of people I've ever seen, and that is including the coach. I am intrigued by what appeared to be the coach buying the scores, but we didn't really go into that too much, but that would have been interesting if we had. As for the weightlifting, for the first few episodes I felt like we didn't really see much of it. We did end up seeing a nice amount of it, probably about the same as the others, but I was hoping to get to see a bit more of it. We saw a lot of training, but we only really saw 2 competitions, I think it was. But out of the 3 sports, I imagine it's the hardest one to cheat an actor into. It would be really hard to get an actress bulked up and trained to the level that would be needed in weightlifting for this. They basically hide her body and her arm muscles with baggy clothes so you can't see that she's not the correct muscle tone for the character, and I assume the weights are dummy weights and they're not that heavy, but the acting from her was really good because I fully believe that that weight was literally about to crack her back in half. My point is, I do understand why not so much of the weightlifting was shown as compared to the other sports. So yes, it's hilarious, yes, it's entertaining, yes, there's loads of sport scenes that have you on the edge of your seat, yes, there are a ridiculous amount of gratuitous shots of Nam Joo Hyuk's abs, but there are also a ton of really, really, really cute moments that, you know, completely attacked me with the warm and fuzzies. I felt the warm and fuzzies so much while I was watching this. I literally thought my cause of death would be warm and fuzzies. It was just so cute. So cute. So cute.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die!
But there is a lot of emotion too via the characters' struggles, and I feel like it was very realistic in that sense. As for the characters, I really liked Bok Joo. She was strong, literally, and she didn't back down, and she was kind of really adorable with how she knew nothing about dating or kind of like being a girl, like the way she bought this little hair ribbon to try and like make herself look cute for the doctor. She was really relatable, she was really realistic. Sure, I may have wanted to shake her a couple of times, but I did get where she was coming from and I understood her and her motivation and why she was doing the things she was doing, although I was seriously just like, dude, you spent like $500 to go to an obesity clinic when you're a weightlifter and you need to not lose weight. That was the one thing that in my mind I was a bit like, why? Bok Joo's BFFs, Soonok and Nanhee, were completely freaking brilliant. They were hilarious. I loved them. I liked that we got to see a nice amount of backstory, at least for Soonok. Nanhee, we didn't really get to see as much about her background, but we did for Soonok, and I really liked that because it brought her a bit more to life. The three of them together were absolutely hilarious. They're the three musketeers. That eating, the way they could pack away food was impressive. Three of them are the queens of strategic eating, and they are the queens of getting other people to pay for their food and then eating like $100 and whatever dollars worth of food it was. Nanhee could be kind of a little bit irritating. She loved to do ago. And sometimes I was kind of looking at her like, you're a bit annoying, but you're also kind of adorable. Soonok, in comparison, was more level-headed than Nanhee. I just really loved the friendship between the three of them. They were such good friends to her. They were there for her. The way they kind of talked things out and got over things was realistic. And they were quite the lively bunch with their swag. Ah, the way they kept saying swag. As for our main male lead, Junhyung, bless him. Like, he is still really struggling with competitions and starting at competitions, but that's not the only thing he's dealing with, and his backstory 100% broke my heart. 100%. I felt for him so badly, and I was just so upset on behalf of him, and especially as at one point it seemed like kind of like no one was on his side. Aside from his legit heartbreaking backstory, he's a funny character, he's quite easygoing and laid back, he is cutely adorable. He has 100% literally boyfriend goals, although I would have belted him one if he kept calling me Chubs like he was calling Bok Joo Chubs. His BFF take on is also completely hilarious, and they have the best bromance I have ever seen in a K-drama so far. It cracked me up the way they were with each other. They were like a little old married couple at some points. Our main character Shiho is the ex-girlfriend of Junhyung, so we're basically supposed to hate her, but I found that I just couldn't bring myself to hate her. I really empathized with her and I really felt for her, and I understood why she was doing what she was doing. Yeah, it was wrong, but she actually felt remorse for the bad things that she did, and she kind of tried to make it right even if it was too late. Basically, she's under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and I feel like she feels like everything in her life is out of her control and she is spiraling, and she just wants to go back to, you know, happier times, and he is part of that happier time. I really liked how it was done, because a lot of the time it's like, oh, it's the ex-girlfriend and you kind of basically hate them and they do shitty things, but with her you could see why she was doing it, you could empathise with her, and you know, there's a lot of character development there with her as well, as she kind of comes to terms with things. The characters are really well fleshed out. Like I said, some of the supporting characters have a nice amount of backstory to them too, but there's a nice amount of character growth and development throughout as well, and I just really enjoyed the cast. I really enjoyed the cast and I really like the characters. As for the romance, it's totally cute. It builds up slowly because initially she has a crush on the older brother, and you see them kind of getting closer again, becoming friends, and then we see them becoming more than friends, and he's basically like, I will rent myself to you and be your boyfriend for a month to see if you like me, to see if I'm appropriate boyfriend material, and then if I am, we can date. If I'm not, you can return me. I really love the way the romance was done and how it built up and how it grew and changed, and they were so completely adorable. The chemistry between them was brilliant. Aside from our main couple though, there are many ships to ship. There's Coach Choi and Bok Joo's uncle, there's Bok Joo's uncle and the delivery girl, there is Soonok and Taekwon, and I'm completely disappointed that we didn't get to see what happened with them in the end, and they were just kind of so adorable in the scenes we got to see, and then we didn't get to see if they were together in the end, and it just, oh my god, and there was just no closure on it. God damn it, there was no closure. And you can ship the older brother Jae with the sports doctor from the university, and that one was one that I was shipping wholeheartedly as well. I mean, I basically shipped everything that there was to ship in this show, I'm not gonna lie. Considering their kind of side romances, they had a nice amount of development to them, some more than others. The acting from the leads was brilliant. I felt for them, I empathised with them, I really connected with them. They did a really good job of showing the struggles that athletes go through, the things they have to deal with, how it affects them and how the stress affects them psychologically, and how sometimes, yeah, you have to persevere and carry on, and how sometimes it's okay to let go. I've seen a couple of the actors before, but it was kind of only as support roles. But as for Joo Hyuk, I've seen him playing 3 very different characters now, and his acting is superb. The support cast are a bunch of memorable, bright and lively characters, and the main cast, they're also memorable, but they also brought a lot of the emotion, and a lot of it was really very raw, and it was a brilliant cast. I really liked the relationships and the banter between all of the characters. The guest stars for this drama are on point. We have Jisoo, and I love Jisoo. I saw him for the first time in Strong Woman to Bong Soon, and then he was completely adorable and broke my heart in Scarlet Heart Rio, and I completely love the fact that he popped up in this, because in real life he is BFFs with Nam Joo Hyuk, who plays Junyoung. The fact that I knew this added a whole other level of hilarity to the scene between the two of them. We also have Lee Jong-suk, who is from W, and he and Bok Joo's uncle were in W together, and I loved the references in their lines in that scene. In all honesty, it was going really well. I was laughing out loud, I was thoroughly entertained, I was binge watching it whenever I could, and then episode 15 happened. I think episode 15 actually broke me a little bit. I fully sobbed watching that episode. There are parts of episodes up to that point that are emotional, but I think this was the most heartbreakingly emotional episode throughout the entire series, or at least it was for me. It just completely ruined me, and it was just like, you'd just gone from being like this elated high to kind of realising, wait, this is a bit shady, and then it was just like, oh my god, no. You are hoping and hoping and hoping that your suspicions were not correct, and then it just hit you, and it was like, oh my god, and it was just like everything, it broke me. I feel like this could have gone on for another couple of episodes to maybe round some things out, and so things were a bit less rushed, but at the same time I'm kind of pleased it wasn't dragged on for too long. And you know, all in all, it did end really well, and I was really satisfied with the ending. Everything was wrapped up nicely, except for that lack of closure with that one ship, but everything was wrapped up really nicely. I was kind of hoping to get to see Bok Joo and Junyoung in the training centre together and get to see him kind of have his triumphant return too, seeing as we had focused on his difficulties with the swimming. So I was hoping we would get to see that moment, but we didn't, which is fine. There were a couple of other little bits and pieces that I wanted to see, like some of the other ships and how it all turned out. But the series ended on a high, and I feel like it was really strong throughout, with brilliant storytelling and a great plot, and it kept moving forward, and the characters grew and developed a lot, and the romance grew and developed in a really interesting way. And alongside the hilarity and the entertaining scenes and the moments that made you laugh out loud, you had some really emotional and brilliantly acted scenes to make a nice mix of different elements to make a completely brilliant show. Weightlifting Fairy is one of my favourite K-dramas ever now. I could quite happily rewatch it over and over again. I completely fell in love with it from episode 1, and it's kind of rare for that to happen. Sometimes it takes me a couple of episodes, but straight away from episode 1 I knew I was going to love it. It was just so hilarious and heartwarming, and his boyfriend goals. If you like Strong Woman Do Bong Soon, you should probably check this one out. I feel like it's something a little bit different because Bok Joo isn't really your average K-drama female lead. So this has been my first K-drama review. I'm not used to reviewing dramas, so hopefully this went okay. I guess we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm definitely going to be doing more of them, as well as some recommendation videos. Whether that's going to be on this channel or on a side channel remains to be seen. I will link all of my social media down below so you can come and follow me. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys soon.